I'm Ghosty, and I'm watching the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 trailer. So, without further ado, here we go. Here we go. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 incoming. Oh, we got Chris Pratt off the bat.
But no matter what happens
Ship,
next,
they're arriving somewhere.
the galaxy
Suburbs.
still needs its
I'm a
guardians.
suburban. Ooh, the comic book outfits look real good.
Hello, we come in peace.
What the hell? We got a mink tribe going on?
Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude?
What the fuck? Yep. Alright. Everything's going to shit. James Gunn. Hell yeah.
Don't forget,
Ooh.
where we
Ooh.
came from.
Finally getting some Rocket backstory. Diving into his character a bit.
We've
That
been running
Among Us! That's gotta be a
our
reference.
whole lives.
Who is that they're carrying?
I'm done running.
Ooh. I'm interested in it. Who's that? Oh, what the hell? Wait, Gamora. I thought she was... I don't know. Drax just had a gaping hole in his chest.
We'll all
What the
fly
hell?
away together.
Oh my god. Come on. Get Groot is a
Into the forever
big man.
and beautiful sky.
Jesus. What was that? Oh, that's pretty cool. Jesus. Groot. God. Alright. Him wielding that many pistols is pretty badass.
And we'll kill anyone who gets in our way.
No, not kill anyone.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
The usual Guardians banter.
Guy who no one loves.
Alright.
Now you're just making it sad.
Alright. Cool. So as you can see, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is on the way. I think the trailer was a treat. I think it was lovely, and it has me really interested, actually. I'm not sure if it's for certain character arcs or the overall plot, but regardless, the trailer I think was pretty good, and my main takeaway was that it looks good, and it looks like it's going to be heavily emotional. There's a lot to unpack, but a lot of it is also things that we don't know much about, and we can't really dive that deep into it, considering we don't know much about it. AKA a lot of stuff going on. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but the Guardians of the Galaxy does its own thing. They have some kind of special sauce that they bring to the table. They have some kind of pizzazz. They have their own thing that they do. Again, I have no idea how to describe it, but they're always doing their own thing, and it's always special. Both the first and second films, I think, are both great, fun films, and I think this one's going to do the same thing. Maybe not as fun, if it is going to be as emotional as I think it's going to be, but with James Gunn behind the wheel, it's going to be something special. Now getting into the actual nitty-gritty of things, the details, we have these comic book accurate costumes, which obviously is always such a pleasant thing to see in any comic book movie or anything related to that whatsoever. I think they all look great. I can't believe that's Mario. Really? But I think they all look good. I'm kind of upset they didn't show him in the headgear or the helmet thing that he wears, but it's alright. Hopefully we see it in the movie, because that would be the complete look for Star-Lord, and it would be perfect. Everyone else, though, does look pretty good. Now, this is Rocket Raccoon. We all just watched the trailer. You watched it with me. And there are things that I'm filming from the mouth to say. And I'm going to wait for that until later, until we get on to that part of the trailer. But for now, this is the shot from where, it's like a flashback, I'm guessing, where he's young and then back to his current self. And I'm really glad that they're diving into his past and history. I think Rocket is a great character. He's probably one of the best among the Guardians. I mean, you can have your favorites or your least favorites, whatever you want, but I think we could all agree that Rocket is an amazing character. And he has a lot of depth that hasn't been explored, and they're going to explore it in this movie, which is the most compelling part for me. I'm really interested in seeing more of him and his lore, his whole character arc, and whatever he goes through, and of course everything that he's been through. This is probably one of my main takeaways from this, and I'm really excited to see the movie and more of him. And of course, there's a lot of indicators that are pointing to a certain something that I'll get into later, and I might be dreading it, but it may happen, may not, but we'll get into that. Now, this is a drastic change of topics when you compare this to the last thing I was just talking about, but this has to be something about Among Us, right? Like, the scene itself, I have no idea what's going on in it, but there is no way in hell that they did not realize this. Or at least acknowledge it, maybe. Or maybe it's just me. I have no idea. Then the next shot I want to bring up is this shot with Drax with a gaping hole in his chest. Not sure what's going on with him, but alright, let me just say this now. I think someone is going to die in this movie. One of the Guardians, obviously, someone major that's been around since the beginning, since the first film, pretty much. And we all think at least I think we all think it's the same person. Could be Drax also, though, and it could be a red herring. But this one I want to talk about only because they're all wearing the same outfit, so they could be imprisoned again somewhere all together. But maybe they're trying to run an escape plan or something like that. But I also did forget about the whole time thing with Gamora, and that's why she's still here. But also, my hormones might be acting up or something, but god damn, she looks good. And I know, I said I would go in order of the events that appear in the trailer, but never mind, for this part at least. I want to talk about the antagonists real quick, because of course the main things that come from this are that big thing that I'm going to get into, the whole plot, and of course the antagonists, which we get a good look at of Adam Warlock, finally, that you can see here, and the High Evolutionary in this one. Both of them are extreme threats, and I'm really curious to see how they're taken down, and I'm interested in seeing the power that they actually show off. I'm a big sucker for when villains have overwhelmingly large amounts of power, and when it's shown, it's amazing. Not only visually, but for the character and movie, and just seeing it, everything about it is just awesome. I love it a lot, and sometimes it's even backed up by the acting as well. The raw and guttural feeling of it really gives it life, and I think it's something to appreciate. And I'm hoping these characters do the same, and the actors for them. The High Evolutionary is a big threat, so is Adam Warlock, and I'm hoping we see a display of that for both of these characters. I'm really hoping they do, because I think it's a little disappointing if they don't end up doing that, because these are villains for the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're celestial level threats, and I'm hoping for something big. And I think that's what we're going to get. I don't doubt James Gunn whatsoever, to be honest. He's a good man. Good man he is. But back to the antagonist, we have the High Evolutionary that pretty much has infinite intelligence and unlimited knowledge. So we'll probably see some big brain plays from him, and he probably factors in a bit in Rocket's past, because we've heard a lot over the movies how Rocket was genetically engineered and how he was made into what he is now. So he probably plays a part in that. As for Adam Warlock, I know I said he's an antagonist, but he is, in comics, a superhero, and an incredibly strong one and powerful one at that. The trailer does make him out to be a villain or an antagonist, because he is antagonizing the Guardians. He literally decks Nebula in the face that we see, but he's probably going to change his ways. Maybe not, but we could definitely see him teaming up with the Guardians to take down the bigger threat, which is kind of predictable. But again, it's James Gunn, and I have no idea what's in store. Alright, well, now that we've gone over most of the stuff, I can finally get into the biggest thing, and that is a possible death. And what looks like to be Rocket Raccoon. Let's start off with this. On numerous occasions, James Gunn himself has come out and said that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to be hitting hard. It's going to be emotional, it's going to be deep, and it's going to be dark. So that's something to look forward to if you like that stuff. I, for one, do, so I'm really curious to see what they do with it. But he's also said, and pretty much confirmed, a Guardian death is bound to happen in this movie. And in this trailer, there was some moments that I was like, wow, holy shit. Like, that looks like it's just fucking emotional by a screenshot alone that I'm showing right now. Just by these clips, it looks like it's going to be something that is very emotional and very hard-hitting. It's going to be heavy, and I feel like a lot of the movie is going to do that with this. Especially if it is any of the Guardians that actually do die, or whatever is bound to happen with them. All the events and things that led up to this all point fingers at Rocket Raccoon for being the one to die. For him to be saying his farewell and whatnot, and it definitely could possibly be a red herring, just pointing it at Rocket and making it seem like it's going to be him when it's actually someone that we don't expect. But I feel like there's too much stuff that points at Rocket where it can't be him at the same time, so I'm not completely sure. But it does look like it's going to be Rocket. Even in past movies, we've gotten hints that Rocket doesn't like his past. He hides from it and he doesn't want to cover it. He doesn't want to look at it or shed any light on it whatsoever. We get the talk with Yondu, which is still a great scene to this day, where he basically pretty much talks to Rocket and says, like, he knows what's up with Rocket. He knows how he is, he knows how he acts, why he acts, and he knows his past. And Rocket has to deal with a lot of deep, dark secrets within himself and only himself that is probably going to be revealed in this movie. Everything from previous movies and previous installments of the Guardians series, or the MCU, however you would put that, points to this. In this trailer as well, Rocket says a lot of not wanting to run. He's tired of running, and he's going to have to face his fears, which I guess is himself. And probably his creator, if it is ending up to be the High Evolutionary, or whoever it is, they're going to make an appearance. And if you're ready or not, the movie's going to release regardless, so get your tissues ready, or whatever you need. But another thing in this trailer is that we get a good look at other creatures that can talk and have the same abilities and capabilities that Rocket has. I'm not sure if they're all creations, or maybe they're on a certain planet that has these types of creatures that just resemble animals. But there is one specifically that Rocket does end up hugging in the trailer, which I'm guessing is an old friend of his. A part of his past that he's tried to hide for however long now, and he has to face it, like I said. A lot of it is going to be going down Rocket and his path and his past and everything that he's been through. Again, it's going to be heavy and it's going to hurt, but I think it's going to make for a great film once it's out. This may come to a surprise for a lot of people, especially the Rocket fans, but if you've kept track of social media or ever see James Gunn's tweets and statements that he makes online, you could probably guess before the trailer even came out, which is what I did. I actually theorized that Rocket Raccoon would die, or maybe any other character. The only other one was maybe Drax, because I think Dave Bautista's contract was let up or something, and he couldn't play Batista anymore. But the main thing was Rocket. And I actually theorized that Rocket would die in the next movie, sacrificing himself while using the implants on his back, because we've never gotten any answers about that. So that's what my mind went to. Whether or not I'm right or not, I'll have to wait and see once the movie's out. And speaking of the emotional stuff going on in this trailer, this might be a little ballsy to say this early, but I do want to say, like, props to Chris Pratt in this scene. I may just be looking over it or just recency bias, but this looks so raw and guttural, and it's from the heart, and I can't even hear anything. Just this clip of him screaming like this looks like it's an immense amount of pain and suffering, which is probably in the death scene, maybe not. Again, we'll have to wait and see, but for now we have no answers. But on the bright side, it's a new Guardians movie, so there we have it. But in the end, I think it's going to be a great film. It looks phenomenal, at least the trailer was phenomenal. I think the movie is going to be good, hopefully better than the first two, just because it's going to be a heavy one. It's going to be the last one as well, as of right now. And of course, again, hoping for something special, but I do think that's what we're going to get anyways. I think the trailer was amazing, and it was really well executed. And of course, hoping the movie does the same, but I will talk about it on the channel, when the movie's actually out and released, but we're going to have to wait a bit for that. But I think that's all I have to say, really, and let me know what you think. Any feedback, criticisms, whatever you want to say, leave a like, comment, all that stuff, and subscribe. But that's all. Ghosty, over and out.